Make sure I have water. Go. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from FEMA Region 5 in the new media production studio designed by Automute.com in Coldwater, Michigan. Tonight, Flawed tracking app for COVID-19 with privacy issues introduced at a college. SpyPod, the iPod that the Department of Energy may have built. AT&T and T-Mobile fight new mapping mandate. September 10th. Well, we may have some new Apple phones available. I want to welcome you to episode 1469 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, August 20th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Or you can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, we want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content on the website. And while you're over there, make sure you get subscribed to the podcast. Just click on one of the links on the sidebar. Also, get subscribed to our newsletter when you're on the website. That'll guarantee, absolutely guarantee that you'll stay connected with this show. And twice a week, putting out great tech content for you, along with our great writers over there. So stay connected with us, all right? And of course, you can join our chat room. The link to the Discord chat room is available on the website, or you can just join us at geeknews.chat. Also, our Slack channel is available. geeknews@gmail.com is a place to get on the Slack channel. Of course, that's the email address for you to really get in contact with me. If you got a comment about today's show, and we missed some comments from the last episode, my fault, so they'll be read today. But yeah, if you've got comments about today's show, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, I'm available also, on Twitter at Geek News. And all our partner shows are linked at geeknewscentral.com. Check it out, The Gadget Professor, the GNC Weekend Review, all the things, the new media show, everything I'm involved with is linked at geeknewscentral.com. And of course, this show is sponsored by the longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends over at GoDaddy.com. We want you to get connected with GoDaddy. We want you to use their products and services. We want you to start a business before the fall, before it hits October, November, because who knows what's going to happen. We may be facing another shutdown. So we want you to be ready to go, have your new business, have your new website online, able to express yourself in a place where you can be guaranteed you'll never be shadow banned. And of course, that is by having your own website, having your own domain, and I'm giving you some great discounts to get her done. 30% off new product purchases, all with the promo code. $4.99.com on newer transfer domains for new customers only. And the best deal really continues to exist right here for GoDaddy web hosting. That's $1 a month economy hosting for the first year. $12 gets you going with a free domain included, or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year. Again, with a free domain, the two best deals on the internet, right there at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Of course, you can get, if you're a business owner, maybe it's time to revamp the website, modernize, use the great tools that they have with their GoDaddy website builder. Your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. Get a only a 1 month free trial on that one. But again, all my other hosting promotions save you tons of money. And again, they're all available on the website at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Thank you for your support of GoDaddy. Take a little shot of H2O here as we move into the next segment, which of course is just a little bit of information about what's been going on here. I had some pretty wild new media shows the last couple of weeks. So if you are a podcaster or you think about podcasting, get a PhD in podcasting by tuning into the new media show at newmediashow.com that Rob Greenlee and I do. And of course, we do have our conspiracy. Mr. Michael Dare was a little bit slacking on the last show. So he's got 2 conspiracy theories for me for today's podcast. He says, Todd, in 1992, a group of Americans fighting illegal foreclosures combined with sympathetic military members then forced an audit of the Federal Reserve. After reviewing their files, the military officers found $800 trillion sitting in accounts which should have been applied to the national debt. Guess we know nothing came of this yet. Now, it's funny that this conspiracy theory popped up today because someone told me the same thing today. So, what show are you listening to, Michael? All right. Now, second conspiracy theory. Again, these are conspiracy theories. We could possibly actually be living in the year 1723. The phantom time hypothesis says Roman Emperor Otto III liked the idea of ruling during the year 1000, even though that wasn't the date when he was in power. Did we forego documents that changed the year? Were the early Middle Ages totally made up? Were 297 years added and all written history of that period fabricated? What is the truth? So those are your two conspiracy theories for this show's Geek News Central podcast. If you have one, got to be in the Slack group. Got to be in the Slack group. Now, Andrew actually provided the article that we're probably going to kick the show off with today in the conspiracy theory section. But first and foremost, I want to just do a shout out here on the last show. If you all didn't listen to the entire episode, do you have DVDs laying around? DVDs that you don't know what you're going to do with? DVDs that you've already ripped? DVDs that you're thinking, I'll never play these ever again? Do you? Send them to me. I'd love to have if you want to make a donation to the show, I would love to have all your old DVDs. If you're interested in doing a DVD donation and send me a box of 10, 20, 50, 1,000 DVDs that you're only going to get a quarter piece from it at a garage sale. Send them, make a donation here because I am trying to make a movie archive. And I'm trying to figure out legally, I can't rip all these DVDs and share them binaries with you because that would be illegal. But if you donate the DVDs to me, I can burn the DVDs and build my own movie library. So where I'm living at the compound, when the internet sucks, which it does a lot, I'm able to actually watch a movie. So if you'd like to make a donation, let me know. All right, so this has been a better week for me overall for just meetings and stuff. And we're, here close to the end of the week. I'm coming off the end of this week much better than I was last week. I was dying last week. So just to let you know, a few of you have asked about it, and I'm doing well. So Jim, how you doing? Welcome to the Facebook. Hey, make sure if you're on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live, you say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Check in. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. All right, let me go ahead here and get into the stack of stuff. And by the way, Kirk, I didn't send you a message in Slack, but thanks for the prep. Thanks for the prep. All right, so let me go over here and close that, open this. So first thing I'm going to lead off, though, is talking about this investigation that was done into a flawed contact tracing app used by one U.S. college. Security problems were discovered with the mandatory app. Now, this college isn't too far from here. Albion College. Albion College is right here in Michigan. When Albion College announced it would be reopening back in June, it said it would put a number of health measures in place to help to reduce the spread of COVID-19, included reduced lecture sizes, virus tests for staff and students. But in a new investigation, also introduced a mandatory contact tracing app with a number of privacy issues. And the report from that app highlights the problems facing these apps and the institutions that are introducing them. And it's well worth a read as a case study. The app is called Aura, A-U-R-A. It's designed to alert schools when a student tests positive for the virus and to let students know when they may have come into contact with someone else who has it. But rather than relying on the local Bluetooth proximity signals to tell when contact has occurred, as the Apple and Google system does, Aurora instead uses location data, a practice that we all know has been criticized for creating privacy problems. As well as being bad for privacy in general, the approach also means the college can keep tabs on where students are going and places restrictions on their movement. And they just have to install the app since we're told they are not allowed to leave campus for the duration of the semester without permission over fears that contact with the wider community might bring the virus back to campus. Dun, dun, dun. If a student leaves campus without permission, the app will alert the school and the student ID card will be locked. And access to campus buildings will be revoked. Investigation revealed other intentional privacy oversights. Secret keys for the app's backend server were found in the app's code. Not that Albion College probably has anybody that does any type of, software decompiling. Allowing one researcher access the patient data record. Patient's data. Again, accessing the patient's data stored in the app's database and cloud storage. Health records found in data storage. TechCrunch also discovered an issue with the QR codes the app generates, which are designed to confirm whether or not someone is tested negative for the virus. The network analysis tool showed that the QR code was not generated on the device, but on a hidden part of the Aura's website. The web address that generated the QR code included the Aura's user account number, which isn't visible from the app. But if they decreased the account number in the website address by a single digit, it created a QR code that for that user's account. In other words, we could see another user's QR code. We could also see the student's full name, their COVID-19 test result status, and what date the student was certified or denied. Now, you have a kid going to Albion College, most of these issues have been fixed. But this points toward the app being a rush job, in their opinion, in this article. The incident raises serious questions about contact tracing software being rolled out, especially if it's required at your student's school, and whether or not your kid's data is safe, or if someone could trigger a false positive, or trigger some spoofing to make it appear your student went off campus, locking them out of their campus room, dorm, and everything else. Dun, dun, dun. Not that this would ever happen on college campuses. There's never, ever that kind of malarkey business going on. But we do live in a modern age. According to Ars Technica, the United States government built a secret iPod with Apple's help. And this is quite intriguing. This is the conspiracy theory that one of our writers at Geek News Central put forth in our conspiracy channel in the Slack channel. So apparently, 15 years ago, Apple helped the U.S. government develop a custom iPod for a clandestine mission. Not that I would know anything about any of that type of stuff. Of course, neither Apple nor the U.S. government will admit this ever happened, but a former Apple engineer and inadvertent intelligence operative, David Scher, tells the story of the iPod that never existed. So the crux is two people were given access to Apple's secret iPod lab, and a senior person at Google, someone's boss's boss, was essentially allowed to be in, and they worked on the code and did all kinds of custom stuff. And here's the interesting thing. There's two business cards with names redacted, but it's out of a company out of Nevada. Betchel, Nevada. They've got an email address that's nv at something at nv.doe.gov. Department of Energy. So let's think back 15 years. What could we have been thinking about 15 years ago? So that would have been, could it have been something to do with some sort of nuclear detection? Could it be something to do with seismic measurements? Could it be something like that? But I guess we'll never know. Because this device may have been a secret iPod that included a Geiger counter or something that could sniff out stolen uranium evidence or maybe a dirty bomb or similar type of things. But they went so far as making a separate sector or a separate partition in the iPod to be able to hide data that was being recorded to it. So there is some stories out there, and there's some Twitter stuff that's out there as well. Now, the Department of Energy does all kinds of interesting things. Most you'll never, ever, 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 ever hear about. But it is an interesting read, and I'll leave it to you to read the article on whether or not the U.S. government, Department of Energy, built a secret iPod with Apple's help 15 years ago. Dun, dun, dun. Brings back all kinds of stories, right? About stuff we've talked about in the past, about servers that were modified, mainframe servers and all kinds of stuff. You never know, do you? Outside the realms of possibility? Well, based upon some of the stuff that's written in this article, my eyebrows got raised a little bit. That's all I'll say. Again, this is all reporting on Ars Technica. Link will be up in the show notes. All right, AT&T, T-Mobile are fighting the speed test. Yes, let me read that again. AT&T and T-Mobile are fighting speed test that could prove their coverage wrong. The carriers surprisingly, yes, very surprisingly, are opposing FCC drive test mandate. Yes, a mandate. The FCC says, hey, you're putting these maps up and you're saying your coverage area, but we're finding holes. So what we want you to do is we want you to have this little app and you drive around in your car and then you send us the results at predetermined areas that is a good sampling for an area. So instead of driving out to my house, which is on the edge of some maps and saying, yep, we got reception here, you need to drive another mile down the road, a mile the other way, and a little more mile to the east and see if that signal is still there, even though you have a map that says it does. But AT&T and T-Mobile said, no, oh no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to verify the accuracy of mobile provider submitted coverage maps. We know those are absolutely perfect, right? What the FCC is asking could prevent repeats in cases which carriers exaggerated, which they would never do, their coverage in FCC filings, which could result in government broadband funding not going to the areas where it is needed most. Small carriers that compete against the big three in rural areas previously had to conduct drive tests at their own expense in order to prove that large carriers didn't serve the areas they claimed to serve. So AT&T and T-Mobile are complaining about the testing costs. Have you looked at your cell phone bill lately? With respects to cost, AT&T estimates to drive just 25% of the square kilometers, 25% of the square kilometers of its nationwide 4G LTE coverage would cost approximately $45 million. You go, come on. $45 million? It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous to say, especially when we're rolling out 5G. Well, why could they not allow all of us to submit that data to them? Give us the apps that all of us that are on Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and why don't we run those tests? Because, hey, that will cost nothing. And I am sure those of you that are in the fringe, where you're in a one-bar area, would love to be able to sit with your phone and send a report to the Federal Trade Commission, or FCC, excuse me. I think that would be awesome. California is also pushing for a drive test. So here's what the difference looks like for those of you that are watching. Here's a state of California where there is a broadband availability map. It shows you where all the coverage is according to the carrier. But yet, when a drive is done, oh my goodness, the image on the right, lots of holes, less coverage, not so much dark, less gray. It shows you that there's massive gaps. And I can almost absolutely guarantee you that the majority of these gaps are in places where people like you and I live that are remote, don't have a cell tower near us, but yet we're supposed to be having good LTE coverage. So I think this is a wonderful thing. So let the FCC let us do those tests for them. We can save AT&T, T-Mobile, and all these folks millions of dollars, and yet get an accurate representation of what's really going on and how we've been ripped off literally for years, and bull malarkey coverage maps are out there. So I'm all for it. Let us do it. Tell your FCC that. Apple appears to be having a September 10th live stream. So this could be the big event. Apple's signature secrecy may have slipped a little bit Thursday when a Twitter user posted a photo of what appeared to be a scheduled live stream for the iPhone's maker's YouTube account set for September 20th. It was on my YouTube subscription page. It's now removed. Apple didn't immediately respond to a request for comment, but apparently someone may have slipped. June 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe time for some new phones. And I am due for an upgrade. And if I can get a Apple iPhone with 5G in it, woohoo! Of course, there's no 5G here anyway. Probably won't be going anywhere where there's 5G anytime soon, but I do need a new phone regardless. So September 10th, that's the date. Someone probably got fired over at Apple, I'm sure. Or Uber and Lyft have got a temporary reprieve from California shutdown order. The company will avoid a shutdown, but the legal drama will continue. Uber and Lyft can continue to operate in California thanks to a last-minute ruling that grants the companies a temporary stay. The stay comes less than 12 hours before Lyft said it would shut down its California operations as a result of the injunction. Uber is also warned it would be forced to halt its ride-hailing business in California. So those of you in California, you still get to ride Uber and Lyft for now. Now, the shutdowns were the biggest spot of legal drama for the companies, which basically says that you have to treat these people as employees. Now, here's what's happening in California. There's a ballot initiative that's been put forth. And in November, the electorate get to decide the fate of these types of workers. And it could affect everything in California. If you vote yes, I think if you vote for these workers to get to be classified as employees, your $3 delivery fee for your McDonald's probably is not going to be $3 anymore. So we'll see what happens here. I bet you, the way California is, they're going to allow. I bet you the electorate will say, "Screw the rights of the drivers. We like cheap rides. Let's not make them employees." That's what I'm going to bet the California people do. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe the left-leaning state will decide that these people should get paid and they should pay more for their Uber and Lyft rides. What do you think? What do you think? Well, the vote will be. What do you think? Anybody in California? How is the winds flowing out there on this? geeknews@gmail.com. So stupid as a stupid does. Four brothers targeted Amazon in an alleged $19 million fraud scheme. They should have left the country. Four brothers from New York State were arrested and charged by federal authorities Wednesday in an alleged scheme to overcharge Amazon wholesale orders and pocket $19 million in the process. From 2017 to 2019, the brothers allegedly ran a wholesale business that exploited Amazon's vendor system, send the e-commerce giant significantly more stuff than it agreed to buy, then to charge the company a lot more money. For instance, check this out. What a deal Amazon got. In August 2018, Amazon agreed to buy from the brothers 12 canisters, 12, of a disinfectant spray for $94. That must be some really good stuff. Instead, they manipulated the vendor system to send them 7,000 toothbrushes for $94 each and invoice the company $658,000. Well, they got away with it, but they did it again and again and again and again. They tried to get $32 million out of Amazon, but they did get 19. The brothers were gloating about their scheme and messaged to each other on WhatsApp. So the rest were part of Amazon's stepped-up effort to fight against scammers. So the four brothers are Yoel Abram, Safran Heschel Abram, these are the locations they live. Yoel Abram, 28, of Safran, Heschel Abram, 32, of Spring Valley, Zish Abram, 30, of Spring Valley, and Shemal Abram, 24, of Airmont. They were each charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and they're all are facing a 20-year maximum sentence of 20 years and a maximum sentence on money laundering of 10 years. So, welcome to the big house, boys. Hey, Ted, welcome to the show. I'm still online. At least I think I am. Let me check. Yeah, everything's still up and running. Okay, I'm here. Google's trying to drastically truncate URLs in Chrome in an anti-phishing move. So what they want to do is if you type in geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, when you hit enter, it's just going to show geeknewscentral.com. What do you think about that? I think that's a good idea because it's going to show you which URL you're really on instead of having this big long thing. I'm kind of cool with that. What about you? You have some of these, like this Computer World article that actually lists this as Computer World article /3571960 /Google-2-trial-drastically-truncated-URLs in Chrome. So it's this whole long, ridiculous URL about. So it would only show computerworld.com. So I think that's smart. Zuckerberg, he's going to be testifying before the FTC as part of an antitrust probe. So this week, he testified at an FTC commission hearing, and they say they're committed to cooperating with FTC. Oh, yes, I'm sure they are. Politico was first reporting Zuckerberg's testimony, and he did virtually over the course of 2 days. Of course, we don't know what he talked about, but we know the FTC is pushing towards is moving forward with an antitrust probe. And so we'll see where this goes. Lots of focus on these big companies right now. And if you own Tesla stock, congratulations. The price just crossed over $2,000 per share. This is ahead of Tesla's planned stock split. A single share, again, crossed $2,000. And the massive rally saw a stock surge of 6%. So we'll see. This is big. So it's going to enact a 5-for-1 stock split. So think about that. 5-for-1 to bring the price down. And so $400, I guess, a share. So it's still not in a range where the average Joe can go out and buy these. but they just booked $104 million profit. And we know that Tesla's going to build its new U.S.-based Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. And the car maker will assemble the Cybertruck and Model Y also for the eastern part of the country there. So good job to Austin. Congratulations to them, Texas. So, Ted, you're saying you got a Verizon outage right now, and they're blaming a 4G tower in Mexico? Dude, how close to the border do you live? All right, a little bit of news. The U.S. COVID-19 database is returning to CDC control. You know, for a while, that information has been going directly to the White House coronavirus response team. But response coordinator Deborah Bricks, I think we've all seen her, the scarf lady, told hospital executives and government officials that the current framework for reporting new COVID-19 cases was an interim system, and data collection responsibilities would soon return to the CDC. The question is, who has the real number? You know that song. What is that song? Will the real citizens stand up? You know, there's a dance song. Will the real correct numbers stand up? I know I lost you guys. You don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but yeah. Will we ever get true, accurate numbers? Will we? I think they're still counting people that get in car wrecks and stuff like that. So, of course, people that didn't take a test but got a positive result test, even though they didn't go, all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, it is what it is. NASA is working to hunt down a pesky air leak on the International Space Station. The crew of 3 will spend the weekend in the station's Russian segment. So they're going to seal everything off and try to figure out where this leak is coming. You know, when there's pressurization leaks, that's a problem. It really is. And, you know, airplanes leak pressure. Many of you probably don't know that. You think they just pressurize and everything's good. Well, I remember having a pressurization leak, and what had happened was the aircraft just basically couldn't keep up with the holes, and we end up finding 2 big holes where cannon plugs used to go through, which had been missing for years. Was a thing that basically there was a lot of other leaks somewhere else, but the 2 holes that were probably 1.5 inches round each had never had plugs put in, and we put the plugs in, and the aircraft, of course, was good again, but yet we know the aircraft was still leaking because the holes were there, but it sealed it up enough to pass the test. Stuff leaks, folks, and the International Space Station is leaking. So they got to find the leak so they can patch it so it can be potentially repaired. The problem is, you know, all it takes is several, and you know, you'd think you would hear it, but anyway, they're going to try to track it down, and they've done this before. The Weather Channel's location data settlement. Well, did you even know the Weather Channel had been sued? Well, the Weather Channel has settled with the state of California. Doesn't really mean a lot for your privacy. There's rain in your forecast for this privacy parade because all they have to do now is put up a disclosure statement that could look like this. Did you know that if you allow access to your device location and barometric pressure sensor data, it enables us to provide you with more accurate local forecasts? As our privacy policy describes, if you grant permission, we use your device's location to deliver forecasts and weather alerts. We also may use and share this information with our trusted partners for ads and to provide and improve our services, regardless of whether or not you allow location access. You can always receive accurate local forecasts by manually entering a location. You can change permissions at any time. Learn more. That's all they have to do. No money, no penalty. They just have to change and hide somewhere in their terms of service this new comment. By the way, congratulations to SpaceX for their launch, getting their space cubes for their satellite internet system launch. They had a successful launch, successful landing. I think it was 6 times that main body had been used. But on that note, congratulations to them on that. But secondly, SpaceX is still pressing ahead with its Air Force lawsuit, despite winning a coveted Air Force contract. SpaceX is saying their losses against the Air Force over rocket development money the company didn't receive 2 years ago, despite just winning more than $300 million contract from Air Force to launch military satellites during the 2020s. In a new court document, SpaceX is arguing that not getting the funds caused substantial harm that still remains. So we know that ULA will be getting 60% of the Department of Defense's launch contracts, while SpaceX will only receive 40%, though the exact number of launches isn't yet decided. The Air Force gave ULA $337 million, SpaceX $316 million. So this is a big win for SpaceX. But, before the Air Force made these selections, the military branch gave out a combined $2 billion in funding to ULA, Blue Origin, and Northrop Grumman to help speed up the development of their rockets and pay for infrastructure costs. Northrop Grumman, big company, right? ULA, big company. But yet SpaceX is kicking all their butt, right? So that lawsuit is proceeding. Someone is sending me, I'm getting all kinds of, okay, it must be time for people to send messages. So you're on the border? Okay. 10 miles north of the border. Yes, your cell was routing right through Mexico. 10 ways to get more out of your Mac. Here's a short collection of tips that could get you more power, and more proficient. Talks about get fluent with Finder, rename files faster. Oh, come on. Why are you giving me a little pop-up? Tidy up your desktop with stacks, use text clippings. Anyway, I'll have this link up in the show notes. This isn't really about speeding your Mac up. This is about you being more efficient. BlackBerries, remember BlackBerries? Zombie BlackBerries, QWERTY BlackBerry, Android phones are coming back. Get ready for QWERTY hardware phones with a focus on enterprise and security. Yet, like a bad zombie movie sequel, BlackBerry phones are coming back from the dead a second time. Remember, TCL tried and failed to make a business out of licensing BlackBerry brand. So new startup called Onward Mobility sounds like it will pick up essentially the same playbook in 2021. No one wants a BlackBerry. Really, come on. BlackBerry branded phones from BlackBerry died in 2016. Come on. Who wants a BlackBerry? Anybody in this audience want a BlackBerry? geeknews@gmail.com. So, Alibaba, you know who that is? You can buy lots of stuff on Alibaba. You can buy a lot of stuff that is probably copyright violations on Alibaba. You can buy a lot of stuff that you buy in Walmart, Best Buy, just about every place that sells electronics. You can go over on Alibaba and find that same piece of equipment without a label on it. And, I recommend that you actually do that from time to time. But Alibaba posts 124% gain in quarterly profits. Revenue hit $21.8 billion in June, up 34% from a year ago. Net income reached $6.7 billion, mainly on gains made from equity investment. Oh, so anyway, I haven't bought anything from Alibaba in a long time. My daughter was buying stuff from Alibaba, clothes and stuff. It was just crap. I mean, really, 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 really crap stuff. Airbnb announces a global party ban for public health reasons. How do they know? Home sharing platform Airbnb has introduced a global ban on parties. The company said people have taken bar and club behavior to homes on its platform. So, the home sharing platform, which made an announcement on a blog post, said it would introduce a property occupancy cap of 16 people. Well, that's still pretty good for a party. Airbnb says 73% of listings had already banned parties in their house rules. So how do you do an Airbnb rental? You don't know what your guest is going to completely do, you know? wait till you hear the new restrictions in Hawaii they put in place with some insanity. Even not allowing family members to be close to one another inside their own home. Google Pixel Buds get new transcribe mode, attention alerts, and sharing detection. So if you've got a Google Pixel Bud, you've been having some problems with it, again, there is going to be an update. And this new transcribe mode is designed to translate long speeches directly into ears. Why doesn't these phones... I'm hearing voices somewhere. Where's that coming from? Huh. I don't have any speakers running. All right. You guys can't hear it. It's somewhere in the office, something's running. But anyway, why can't I just speak into these apps today? I've got a lot of Spanish customers that are coming on board on Blueberry. A lot. So why can't I just have auto translate? I speak and it translates right on the screen and puts it right in the body. I don't want to have to go to the translate page, cut and paste. I want it just to do it. The translation mode is, we're supposed to be further down the road with this. They're saying the buds are going to do some of this function. So maybe I'm missing out on the tech. What are you guys using, if you are at all, to really speed up the translation from English to Spanish or whatever it may be that you're trying to do and who you're trying to communicate with? So love to hear from you. Okay, next up, Reddit reports 18% reduction in hateful content after banning nearly 7,000 subreddits. So, wow. So that's pretty big. 7,000 subreddits were removed. But big number. But they're still having problems. So they'll continue to attack it as they can. DoorDash is adding an on-demand grocery delivery to its app. 75 million Americans have access to on-demand groceries. Not where I live. So more than 10,000 items will be available for delivery in under an hour, and 75 million people in the United States should have access to this. In much of California, users will be able to order from Smart and Final customers and from Smart and Final. Okay. Who is Smart and Final? I don't even know is that a grocery store? Customers in major Midwestern cities can order from Myers and Fresh and Time. DoorDash is adding new partners like Hy-Vee and Gristedes. I can't even pronounce that. And the company is also working with Wegmans, Lucky, Food City, and others to deliver prepaid meals, and users can ship grocery items through their Dash Pass subscription. So just a heads up there. Global smartwatch market revenues up 20% in Q1 2020, led by Apple, Garmin, and Huawei. So there's a cool breakdown of the global smartwatch market. And for those of you watching, yes, 51.4% is the black is Apple, and Garmin 9.4, Huawei 8.3, Samsung 7.2, and then a whole bunch of others down to Fossil of 2.1. And I don't know who the 11.8% is. They're not clear on that. But anyway, smartwatches, everyone's got one. It's really probably put a kilter on the regular watch market in the United States. TikTok has removed hundreds of thousands of videos for hate speech, and more than 1,300 users have been banned entirely. So the company says it's taken down, hang on, that's a different number. Oh, so they've taken down more than 380,000 videos and 64,000 comments in the United States for breaking its hate speech rules. TikTok has also banned it against 1,300 users. So what have they been taken down? What kind of content? Huh. When this stuff happens, you wonder. You'd like to wonder what the makeup of that is for hate speech and what their definition of that is. So, okay. Apple App Store could be completely banned in China. So, according to a report, this is according to a report from the Information, who notes that over in China, it is a requirement the App Store need to be majority owned by a Chinese company, but yet Apple's managed to get around this for years. However, with reports that China-owned apps like TikTok and WeChat are getting bad, the report suggests that China might be retaliate by enforcing those rules. Well, interesting. Goes on to claim that Apple had in the past considered setting up a Chinese arm to help them deal with the issues, but yet to proceed, although now it may seem that they will probably need to take a look at it seriously. Well, just don't make anything available. Let the App Store be banned in China and let the Chinese people feel a little bit of the weight of what their government does to understand the authoritarian rule that they live under, and maybe people will start to get pissed off finally. Of course, if you do, you just disappear in China, right? Best PC speakers for 2020? Well, this is a list from CNET. Got one of those for you. Also got 10 generators to keep the lights on. Let me look at these. Who did they recommend? Briggs & Stratton, Champion Power Equipment, Duramax, Durostar, Sportsman. Where's the Honda generators? Well, there's a list of generators. If you're worried about the apocalypse or you want to keep your lights on when the power goes out, there's a list of generators for you to check out. The United States government can't use DJI drones, but there are 5 it just approved. The Skydio, the Parrot, and the Altavian, the Teal drones. Why can't people name stuff like, so you can pronounce it, Vantage Robotics? So there's 5 companies that have been approved. And today, the DoD's Defense Innovation Unit is not announcing one, but 5 drones have been tested and approved, now formally available for U.S. government use. So, winner, chicken dinner. And the U.S. government actually has a chart, and I'm sure they're going to overpay for every single one of these. Oh yeah, premium price tags between $14,000 and $20,000. Yeah, there we go. Your taxpayer dollars at work. It's not surprising. Not surprising here. But anyway, DJI, you're out of there. Okay, how to identify and block devices on your router. There's a good article here on how to do that. I'm going to tell you how you fix this if you've got a kid that's got a device problem or a gaming problem. When he's in the middle of a game and it's hot and heavy and they're hooping and hollering, cussing and swearing, you just go unplug the internet. You just go unplug the internet. And what happened here? Something is going on. I don't know what happened. Oh, let me do something here. That's bizarre. Went to look at the screen and my browser like shrunk. So yeah, so if you got a kid that's got a problem doing some gaming stuff, all you got to do is unplug the internet. And when he screams and yells more, you just giggle silently. And and then when they get back on, you unplug it again. And after 2 or 3 of those evolutions, they'll get 30-day bans from the games they're playing. That's how you solve it. All right. That's how you do it. Toby, you hear voices in your head? What it was, Toby, is I figured out I had the speaker turned up here on my own computer that I'm using. And the computer actually sits over here on a little stand. And it was feeding this ear. And I was like confused. So I'm all good now. But Ted says, hey, remember that guy who stopped the tanks in Tiananmen Square? Yeah, he disappeared. Ted, a lot of people have disappeared in China. I'll be honest with you, as much smack as I talk about China, and there has been numerous times that I've talked really negatively about them, there's no way I would ever fly through Hong Kong. I just wouldn't consider it. It would be too much of a risk. Their new laws would allow them to detain me, even though I am an American citizen talking bad about China. If you get within their jurisdiction, they can snatch you up. There's no way I would ever go through Hong Kong. And just that's for any of you that are thinking about that, you don't have to worry if you're not doing stuff like I am. But if you're talking smack about the Chinese all the time, they have a list and they check it twice, and then they roll you up, and you may not get out of the country. You might go to jail. It's been reported that your Fitbit could help you detect COVID-19. This fitness tracker can pick up underlying symptoms before they float to the fore of our consciousness. So if you have a Fitbit, I'll have this link up in the show note. They say based on findings of our study, we can detect nearly 50% COVID-19 cases one day before participants report the onset of symptoms with 70% specificity. This is important because people can transmit the virus before they realize it, blah, 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 blah. So, okay. A link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. Is your browser a good enough password manager? Well, the folks over at Gizmodo do some tests and password checking and all this stuff. I'm not a fan of using the password within the browser itself, just because anyone can open, if the computer's left open, anyone can open the browser up. With LastPass installed, they require a password for me to authorize passwords being used. So, yeah, I would be hesitant. California wildfires spread massive plumes of smoke, images from space. So, you don't hear about that in the news, that there's evacuations and stuff going on. Do you guys know that there's fires in California? This is the first I've heard of it. Anyway, link will be up in the show notes on that. Final article tonight. What's the best student laptop? Well, of course, kids want Apple computers, but they've got a list of devices, including some iPads and stuff. So most parents cannot afford to buy a Mac for their kids, so it's just better to have a Chromebook or a simple PC. Amazon Fire HD, Lenovo Chromebook Duet, Apple 10.8, 10.2-inch iPad, Microsoft Surface Go, Google Pixel Go. Highest price on all those was $649. And then they have some other lists as well. So some for high school students as well. Of course, you would expect the price to go up. One of the listing is the Dell XPS 13. Really good choice there for students. All right, I've got a stack of stuff from listeners, so don't go anywhere. Don't leave. Let me find the comments. Are you kidding? Come on, Google. Don't do this now. Yes, this is me. I am who I say I am. Yes, let me log in. Ay. Not that one. And go to TNC comments. All right. Hey, we got a conspiracy theory from one of our listeners. It's from Rob. I won't say his last name. Oh. He says, listening to an episode of Art Bell last night, caller asked what purpose crude oil serves in the earth itself. So my inspiration for this conspiracy started with some comments from Art Bell. I wish he was still around. I would too. Would love to hear his spin on things. Pun intended, but I didn't realize until I proofread this. Wait for it. Anyway, if we remove too much oil from underground, the Earth's core will seize up and stop spinning. Earth will lose its magnetic field. This will affect GPS cell phones and will have a multitude of other effects. Who knows? Will the Earth stop spinning? Will there be no gravity? Will we all fly off or float into space? Stay tuned. He says, by the way, I'm a science teacher, so I know gravity will not be affected. But hey, it's a conspiracy theory. Rob is out of Canada, so he's one of our listeners that hail from Canada. I got an email from Bob, and he sent me 2 emails. And I have to be careful here reading some of this stuff. He says, hey, just listen to last podcast where a Facebook post was flagged because of your counterculture comments. The reason they flagged is because Facebook is part of the counterculture and you are calling them out. Oh, that's good. Can I read the other part of your note? Bob, I appreciate your comment, but if I read this on the show, thank you for your comment, though. I do appreciate it. Jim, thank you for your comment as well. He says, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to read what he told me. He says, but here's a suggestion for the individual that was being a bully. And that's a nice write up there, Jim. But my only thing is, if I sent that, that would end up in national press, and then I would be without a job. But no, that's a good one. I appreciate it. I do. And so I know that you sent me a long note, Jim. I did read it. I do appreciate it. It is greatly appreciated. See if I can say where Jim is. Yeah, Jim doesn't say where he is from, but I do appreciate your comments on 1467. Oh, Brad, I didn't miss adding you to the Slack channel. I'll get you added to that. So anyway, great comments coming in. Some of the stuff I cannot read because it would instantly piss a bunch of people off, but thank you for the entertaining read. I will say that at most. All right, so we're going to get out of here. geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the email address that you send your comments to. Don't forget to support the sponsor, GoDaddy, at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you've been loving the shows, consider becoming an insider at $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 no, not an episode, I wish, a month at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Be back with you on, what is today? Thursday. Be back with you on Monday for another show here. And those of you that were live in the chat room, thanks for being here. Toby, Ted. I missed a couple of people. Who else were in the chat room? But some of you were scared to say hello. I saw the Facebook list was pretty big at one time. But anyway, everyone, take care. We'll see you next time here in the Geek News Central podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.